Well, good morning, trendsetters. It's Friday morning here on the Atherton Tablelands in far north Queensland, Australia, and the sun's streaming through my window. We have long periods of drizzle and rain, and it's always pretty much green here. It's very rare that it goes brown. And in this time of the year, in the middle of winter, we get these nice blue sky days and stars at night, and you get to have bonfires because it hasn't dried out too much. And the communists haven't put a fire ban on everyone or anything, so it's like the Garden of Eden here at the moment. It's fantastic. And you can tell it's the Garden of Eden because we've got taipans and death adders and brown snakes, as well as some nice carpet snakes and black-headed pythons. They're beautiful snakes, actually. Anyway, we weren't talking about snakes today because this channel's not about snakes, is it? I used to own a couple of snakes, but that's nothing to do. My friend Robert the Bruce, I call him, he just called me up. Well, didn't call me up. He sent me a link like he normally does. Here, watch this on YouTube or watch this on BitChute, and what the hell's going on here? They're going to bring in a central bank digital currency and one world order and one world government and all this stuff. And I've been trying to convince him that the digits in the bank that you think of Australian dollars, they're just blips on the screen. You've heard me say this a million times if you've listened to me regularly. They're blips on a screen. They're not real commodities, and they should be a commodity because money's a commodity, and it always has been a commodity for all of history. Money is the one commodity interchangeable with all other goods and services. Anything you want to trade with, if you've got real money, they'll take money in lieu of another good or service, and they know that they can then on-trade that for a good or service. So that's what makes one of the qualities of money. Another one is long-term store of value, which gold and silver have always been. And the cryptos are just like the dot-com bubble. They're just a little sideshow that happens in the top of a mania. So he keeps asking me, like if they're going to ban cash and have a one world digital currency, we're frightened of this somehow. We're worried about this, and they'll confiscate our metals and all this sort of stuff. Well, that's why I buy silver, not gold. I haven't bought gold for ages. I've got nearly an ounce of gold in kinesis, and I got 2 ounces of physical gold, just to say I've owned some gold. That's it. That's all I got. And I won't tell you how much silver I got. But anyway, and I won't tell you where I live either. That's the next question. Where do you live? But anyway, not all of it's, not much of it is stored on site anyway. So, but yeah, I have it within reach. I have it within walking distance. I don't have to go through a third party to get it. And that's the key. That's the key. Of course, I own mining stocks just in case we don't run out of power or internet. But this one world government bullshit, this World Health Organization and World Economic Forum, all these fucking central planned fuckwits, they're at the end of their tether. They're at the end of their life. We're at the end of central planning again, just like we were in the Soviet Union. The same people kicked it off all around the world. So they've got us, let's do it with the whole world. Things are collapsing so quickly in this country. There is so many shortages of labour because of over-regulation, because of vaccine mandates, because of minimum wage laws. And the fuckwits are out there trying to put the minimum wage up a bit more so more young people never get a start in the market. They never learn how to work. What's the maximum wage? You've heard me say this before. What's the maximum wage? Should we set the maximum wage? How ludicrous that some government department full of bureaucrats that have never worked a day in their fucking life are legislating. Have a look up all the commissioners that work for Fair Work Australia. Where the fuck did they come from? Fuck off, Fair Work Australia. Fuck off. They should be disbanded like the rest of the government. So, they all sit there and make their fucking stupid laws and tell everyone this is how it is. And you know what the real problem is? Is the compliance. Is when all the businesses in this country and around the world go, oh, we better do what the government says. You know, you all fall in line like sheep. It's your compliance that's the problem. You know? And apparently the Chinese have just found out that you can lock people down and you can try and make them get jabbed, but if you send a fucking trooper into your lounge room with a white suit on, they revolt. People revolt. They've had a guts full. So we're at the end of central planning. We're at the end of the World Economic Forum. We're at the end of having these fuckwits telling us what to do. So they destroy the economy, and that makes the civil unrest come. People get hungry, desperate. You know, have a look at Sri Lanka. They promise utopia and they deliver dystopia. I've got a plan. That's the biggest problem that's the thing that you should be fearful of. Yes, you should be fearful of these wankers in the World Economic Forum and the World Health Organization and all this world blah, blah, blah. You should ask where they get their funding from. If they don't have day jobs, what the hell do they do? What value do they offer the market that allows them to collect currency, or assets, or whatever? So anyway, think of it like this. I think of it like this. My silver is no different to bushels of wheat in a silo or barrels of oil, except that I don't know about the oil, but like as in the long-term store of value, that's hard with bushels of wheat because they go rotten. But we got a commodity. Money is a commodity. So they can ban cash. Do you know, before 1945 in Australia, all transactions just about, unless you wrote a cheque, which was just a cheque is just the same as a $50 note. It's just a piece of paper with something written on it, right? Get it through your head. A cheque is no different to cash. It's a promissory note to pay something in the future. So like, here, I'll write you an IOU. You take it to your bank depository and they will give you the money. Well, cash is the cheque of the gold and silver system and the copper system. So, but before 1945, all of the transactions on a day-to-day basis in this country were done in gold, silver and copper. That was the coins. You don't need anything else in a sound money system. And you don't need a lot of dollars because, it's 1 cent for a fucking big bag of lollies. One little tiny piece of copper buys you a big bag of lollies. The bag of lollies is manufactured, but it's a commodity. It's just a bunch of manufactured sugar and you should never buy it. But it's a commodity. It's something real you can touch, like real estate, like gold, like fine art. So the dollars in your bank account now, how do you look at them? You look at them at the ATM, you look at them on the screen on your computer and on your laptop, you look at them on your mobile phone and you go, that's my money. It's not your money, it's some digits on a screen. It's a central bank digital currency. You've already got a central bank digital currency in your bank account. The only difference is today is you're still allowed to draw $2,000 at a time out in cash. So when they introduce the CBDC, by the time they do it, we'll probably won't even have the power on. How the fuck are you going to introduce a central bank digital currency with no internet and no power? I only want you to hear this today because in the future I don't know whether you'll be able to listen to this. If you're still alive, if we're still here, like I don't think there's some Armageddon coming that's going to blow everyone off the planet. Maybe. A lady told me the other day she believes in the rapture. And if you don't believe and pray to God and repent for your sins all the time, you're not going to get taken straight up to heaven when the rapture comes. And if you're left behind, it's going to be horrible. It's going to last for 7 years and it's going to be horrible. I'm not sure if that's, correct. A lot of people, everyone sees it a different way. But they know there's something coming. Well, I'll tell you what, it's not coming. It's here. It's now. It's today. Forget about the future. What about today? It's already here. Netflix is down 70%. You know, Tesla's down, God knows, 40%, something like that. And so they should be. So Tesla's never paid a dividend, never made a profit. Why would you think that it's... Yeah, so there's a big difference between the stock price of a company and the value of a company. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. But right now, you've got a central bank digital currency in your bank account. So if there's a chance that the power will still be on, like I know that if the power goes off and the internet goes down, I've got nothing. I've got Computershare telling me I've got some stocks in a company, and I'm taking screenshots and printing them out. So maybe I can trade them later on. You know, there's always a secondary market springs up. People have to trade to survive. Even if they're, you know, so what's going to happen is we're going to go back 100 years maybe. Because this extravagant exuberance on all the printed money, on all the fake currency, is stealing the prosperity of the future and bringing it into today. And we've been doing it, you know, since 1972, if not 1914. So we have to, the same as if you run up 6 credit cards. I've seen this before. I sold a property for a lady who ran up 6 credit cards to pay for the, you know, for the mortgage. So this one got maxed out, so she got another one. And they just kept, and then she was just paying the minimum payments on the mortgage, paying the minimum payments on this credit card, paying the minimum payments on this credit card, you know. But by the time now these days you wouldn't get to 6. They'd cut you off a bit quicker these days. But however many you get to, at some stage it's got to stop. And she was able to sell the asset for a lot less than what her brain thought it was worth, but it cleared the credit cards and gave them something to kick on with down at Bribey Island. So the bank was only giving her the credit cards knowing that one day she'd have to sell the asset. And the primary place of residence is not really an asset. It doesn't pay you to live in it usually, but you know what I mean, the family home. So they knew there was something there that could be sold that would pay that back at some stage. And if she got too deep, they'd take the house off her and sell it. So it's commodity for commodity. So if we have no power and no internet, what are you going to do? When cyclones have hit before, women have sold their sex for fuel. But if you can grow something, if you can make something, but I mean, if we've got no power for a long period, we're ploughing the fields with a horse and a plough behind it. We're trying to get coking coal out of the ground so we can make steel. We're burning kerosene lanterns for light at night. We're going to bed at 6:30, 7 o'clock, waking up at 5. And we spend most of our day making sure we've got something to eat. We don't have time for podcasts. We don't have time to drive to the beach. In fact, if we don't live on the beach, beach is too far away. We see that once a year. Pack up the horse and cart or go for a ride on your push bikes there and camp there for a couple of weeks. I mean, it's not like you're going to go 9 to 5 and have a month holiday every year. You're going to be flat out trying to feed yourself, and so is bloody 26 million other people on the country, and 7 billion people in the world or whatever. Some of them are going to die, but guess what? They die every day. 300 people a year get killed on Queensland roads. That's on the government. They kill 300 people on the roads. Then they kill shitloads more in their inefficient, centralised hospital systems. But we find ways to die. Many of us die of old age. Many of us die in car accidents or industrial accidents, or die of vaccine damage. Get heart attacks from having some experimental vaccine shoved in their arm. Many of us die many different ways. We find ways to... So we've got as many people as we can feed right now. If the food supply drops by 2/3, whatever that looks like, we've got as many people as we can feed. and there's a lot of arguments against industrial farming and stuff like that, like fertilizers and mechanization. But, don't be a Luddite. Don't try and stop progress, and attack the machines, the labor-saving machines. People go, oh, it's good. The technology's taken our jobs. Well, go and smash your fucking your washing machine up and start rubbing on an old washboard. But don't worry about these central planners. And if they do send the troops because I won't comply, fuck them, I'll fight them. Individually, we can fight them. Not as one. Not like the Butchers Creek School when you drive past. We're going to strive as one. No, you're not one. You're a bunch of individuals. And you can think for yourselves and you can stand up like all you people did and didn't comply with the stupid regulations that came in. Stand up. And I don't care if there's not 100 people behind me going, go on, Brendan, you can do it. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to stand up anyway. And if they take me out, they take me out. Fuck them. I'll live free or die. Like the motto of New Hampshire. Hello to all the people in New Hampshire, United States. Hello to the libertarian movement there that get yourselves into government and stop all this bullshit going on. Live free or die, they say in New Hampshire. And that's what I say here in far north Queensland. Live free or die. I will not live in fear of these bastards. I'll just prepare for a time when I don't send emails or it may get to the point where power is just very expensive. So I'll be an elite. I'll be able to afford power. And then there'll be all these welfare zombies out there trying to get to me for a few months until they die. So I don't know who I'm going to fend off, if anybody, but I'm in the best position I can be to stay away from them. But it's now. It's happening now. It's on now. So this is the end of central planning, guys. This is the end of central planning. This is not the start of it. This is how they collapse themselves. They collapse under their own weight. And if they introduce a CBDC and the power's still on, I'm just going to test it. Hey? I'm going to buy silver with it. And if they stop me, or if they say I've ordered too many pizzas for the week, I'm not going to use it anymore. I'll quit my job. I go, that's enough. Not working for that shit. You have the decision. You have the decision in your heart, in your head. You can just say, no, I don't like what you're paying. I need something different, thanks. So we're going to have to renegotiate with whoever we work for. If there's still jobs out there, we'll probably all be individual contractors. And then we'll form little corporations ourselves anyway and cooperate with each other. I believe there's enough of us out there that still believe in individual liberty, that understand that Western culture created the free market, that created the prosperity, that let these fuckwits grow like a cancer. That there's still enough of us that know that the system works that way. That's the path to prosperity for all of us individuals, so that we can look after our families and look after ourselves, and we don't rely on a handout. These handouts are bread and circus, ladies and gentlemen. They're bread and circus, like the Roman Empire. It's, the Colosseums full of fans, cheering at footballers. There's the circus, and the bread is the welfare they got last week. Whether it be middle class welfare, whether they got some family tax benefit. Look at all the taxes they pay. The people in the Roman Empire paid taxes for one day. They worked one day a year to pay their taxes. The average Australian works 5 to 6 days a week. Well, a lot of them don't, do they? Yeah. But the ones that work 5 to 6 days a week, 3 of those days are for the government, so that they can use it to incur more debt, to give away free dollars. And where do they get the debt from? The central bank. The central bank's running the country. The evil princes of Martin Place. are running the country, not the government. They're just a front for the central bank. And this is central planning 101. This is communism. It never works. It always fails. So hang on to your hat. See if you can survive these wankers. But I'll tell you what, if they tell me I can't use I don't want to use their cash now. A lot of people are going to wake up and go, well, I don't want AUD and I don't want CBDC, so I'm just going to refuse to work for it. I'll find another way. There's always another way. Yes, they like to entrap you. They like to force you into a system. You don't have to comply. There's people out there that are being paid in Monero and Pirate Chain because they can, because the internet's still on. There's people out there operating totally outside any of the fiat currencies, apart from the digital one they're using. But they're working for it. They're being paid in it. And now with all the exchanges, you can exchange your dollars for any sort of crypto you want. Excuse me. But without power and without the internet, you're going to have to swap a commodity for a commodity. And if all you've got is your labor, or your brains or your ass, that's what you trade. Hopefully won't get to that for most of us. But you swap a service for a commodity or a commodity for a commodity, and you go back to barter. And really, when you're doing a transaction now, you're bartering. Whoever's on the other end of that transaction taking the dollars off you, they've just bartered dollars for whatever they're supplying. Or you've just accepted dollars for whatever you're supplying. That is a barter. That is a barter trade. So when the CBDC comes out, like I say, by the time it comes out, there probably won't be any power on. The whole lot's going to just implode. You watch the market. You watch the stock market this year and the bond market and the real estate market. It's absolutely crazy right now in the real estate market in the regions. But we're at a mania just before some black swan comes flying in and fucks everything up. So let's just, if the power's still on by Christmas, let's just have a look back at this podcast and see where the financial system is, because I think it's going to be in big trouble. And it will basically cease to exist as it is right now. And we will go back to barter. And then all sorts of different IOU notes will appear, but they'll be IOUs for a commodity. So if you want to store your Australian dollars in the bank, or you want to pull them out in cash and hide them under the mattress, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. You're just going to lose what could have been used to buy a commodity today that will disappear tomorrow. You want to lose your net worth? Keep it in the bank. Keep it under the mattress. Because this inflation coming at us, that's going to burn up all your cash, your $100,000 under the mattress that buys a nice near new Land Cruiser today. 150 buys you a new one, isn't that? It's the price of a block of land. Let's say it does that today. In the future, it won't buy much. It'll buy a pair of shoes. So that's how you lose your net worth in a hurry, is the inflation. That's why it cost $50,000 for a house in 1985 and it cost $500,000 for the same house today. It's still the same house, it's just you need 10 times as much currency because the currency is unstable. It's not a commodity, it's not backed by a commodity. So let them do what the hell they want. Let them do what they want. It's not going to matter. Don't panic about a CBDC or any of these central planners. As my mate B1, Brendan McRae Photography, I'll give him a plug. I don't know his number offhand. Look it up, Google it. Brendan McRae Photography, if you're in far north Queensland. He says, fuck them and the horse they rode in on. And I agree. Thanks for listening, guys. It's been a lovely morning. I'll let you get on with your day.